Hi everyone. One of the great powerful images of 2020 is going to be the rainbow, isn't it? The great arc of colour across the sky. And I've been thinking about that a bit, inevitably, and thinking about how light shines through darkness. And in doing so, I've turned to the Gospels again and seen how Jesus describes himself as light. He says, "I am the light of the world. He who follows me will not walk in darkness, but will have the light of life." The Apostle Paul, in describing Jesus, says, "For God, who said, 'Light shall shine out of darkness,' is the one who has shone in our hearts to give the light of the knowledge of the glory of God in the face of Christ." Again, the other week I reminded you of how the Holy Spirit brooded over the waters at the beginning, and God said, "Let there be light," and there was. But perhaps the most powerful and wonderful reference that I found was in John's Gospel, at the beginning of John's Gospel, where he says, "In him was life, and the life was the light of men. The light shines in the darkness, and the darkness did not comprehend it." He is the light that reveals, the light that shows the way, the light that penetrates through every dark place. Light's an amazing thing, isn't it? And we know that in the natural world, it's the way in which different surfaces have different physical or chemical characteristics that causes us to see them in different colours. And that's how a chameleon, for example, can change the colour of his skin. Similarly, going back to the image of the rainbow, we know that at the end of a storm, it's the sun shining through the cloud and the droplets of water that makes that amazing myriad of colour across the sky. It's an amazing picture, isn't it, the rainbow? And it's being used for us now as a symbol for us of the hope that we have that this dark time in our country will pass. It's a great image of the different ways the key workers provide for us and support us, each one of them providing a different skill. I'm reminded too of how in South Africa many years ago, at the end of the apartheid racism that we saw there, they described themselves as the Rainbow Nation, as the diversity of their country was expressed. Similarly, the LGBT community seeks to express how we are all different and yet all loved. Inevitably, I turn back to the Bible for that amazing story of the rainbow. In Genesis again, yep, everybody knows it. Children the world over have books and toys which tell it. The story of a man, Noah, and his family, who are forced, along with two of every kind, into an ark to save them from the waters. It's a simple story. No, I don't think so, really. It's a story that gives us many, many questions. It's a story that confuses, a story that shows us that we can't be in control all the time, that we can't know everything, that we don't have the power that we think we have. And that is how God is. He cannot be contained, put into a box. He cannot be our shape. He cannot be made in our image. He made us in his. And it's this sense of powerlessness that leads us to call out to him in desperation for answers. And he is the God who then reveals. And the penultimate way in which God revealed was through his Son, through Jesus. He is perhaps actually the best embodiment of the idea of the rainbow promise of God. Jesus came as a fulfillment of that. He died for each one of us, that we might have a relationship with God, that we might be able to walk in the light of God, free from the darkness that binds us all. And one of the things that I'm so struck about with this whole time is that in God shining his light in us, Jesus then in the Gospels goes on to say that we then can become the light of the world ourselves. He says this: "You are the light of the world. A city on a hill cannot be hidden. Nor does anyone light a lamp and put it under a basket. No, they put it on a lampstand, and it gives light to all who are in the house. Let your light shine before men in such a way that they may see your good works and glorify your Father in heaven." So each one of us shines our light in this particular way in which God designed and intended us to do it. I have two questions to ask of you. The first one is far more important than the other. Those of you who are feeling in a dark place at the moment, I'd urge you to call on God to shine his light into your situation. Not as you would expect, but in his way, to reveal himself to you, that you might find a way through. And if you're praying that prayer for the first time, maybe, if you'd like to let us know, and we will pray along with you and seek God for you as well, asking that God will reveal and penetrate. There is no dark place that God's light cannot reach. Secondly, many of you will know that I'm a hospital chaplain, and in the hospital there are plenty of pictures of rainbows at the moment, and it's been great to see them all. But we've discovered that not many of them have reached the Faith Centre. So it'd be wonderful to have some pictures of rainbows over the Ark, probably, is the best. And if you would like to produce a picture, or ask one of your children, probably, if you've got children of that age who would like to paint us or draw us a picture of the rainbow over the Ark, you could send them to me via the church, and in a few weeks' time I'll put a display up and we'll see what we can take some pictures of to show you. But don't forget that through the storm, through the darkness, God provides the light.